He is one of the sport's most respected drivers and one of its most mentally and physically prepared. This season, as the driver of the Valvoline Ford, this man has posted 4 Winston Cup wins, along with a handful of Busch poles. Suffice to say, this man is an odds-on favorite to win each and every race he enters. And tonight, you get to meet the pride of Batesville, Arkansas, Mark Martin, on This Week in NASCAR. And now, from the Holiday Inn West in Phoenix, Arizona, here's the host of This Week in NASCAR, Eli Gold.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to This Week in NASCAR. A great crowd joining us here at the Holiday Inn West in Phoenix. Of course, this weekend, the NASCAR Winston Cup Series running the Slick 5500 at Phoenix International Raceway. Just 2 races left to settle the Winston Cup Point Championship this year. We'll talk more about that as our evening continues. And, of course, our special guest tonight, Mark Martin, driver of the Valvoline Ford. If you'd like to join us with a question, the phones are open toll-free, 1-800-292-5551. That's the number to put you in touch with us tonight here in Phoenix on This Week in NASCAR. As far as the news of this week is concerned, Joe Nemechek says he won't drive this week nor the following race in Atlanta for the Kodak team. He's trying to preserve his Rookie of the Year standing for 1994. Jimmy Hensley has the ride here this weekend, and again at the Hooters 500. Jimmy is reportedly set to hop into the 55 car next year, replacing Ted Musgrave, who moves on to Roush Racing. So a good break for Jimmy Hensley. Jimmy Spencer, according to news media reports this week, won't be coming back with Bobby Allison Motorsports, apparently heading to Junior Johnson and Associates to replace Hut Strickland, who just the other day was told he'll not be coming back, though Hut indicates he does have a ride for 1994, and we'll hear more about that over the course of the next few days. One other quick bit of news, the R.J. Reynolds Tobacco Company calling a press conference here in Phoenix for tomorrow night. According to the National Speed Sport News, one of the trade papers, they seem to feel that R.J. Reynolds will be getting into the car sponsorship business in Winston Cup racing effective next year. So one feels that's what the press announcement would likely be here tomorrow night. We'll tell you more about that on the show next week. But that's just some of the news items of this week. Now let's welcome our special guest. At the outset of the show, we talked about his accomplishments in Winston Cup racing. But that car right there, the Winn-Dixie Ford, is another of Mark Martin's homes. That's the car he drives on NASCAR Busch Series competition. And all he's done this year is every race he has finished, he has won. It's a remarkable record, Mark. Stop and think about it. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. It's been a great season with both race cars. We've got great race cars and a great bunch of people working, and it's been fantastic.
Interesting thing is, you really haven't done a whole lot different from February to November. I mean, you guys prepare the cars the same way, the same crew, same personnel. But at the beginning of the year, the luck was way down here. Then all of a sudden, things couldn't go wrong for you. And it's nice to see a team finally get rewarded.
Well, you know, you just got to hang in there. I mean, we had great stuff at the beginning of the year. I felt like we had the best Ford on the racetrack, and had no complaints about anything except that you know, something was always standing in the way of us winning, and it wasn't speed. It was, you know, something else. So things just, we held on long enough that things turned out for us.
We've got hundreds of folks joining us here at the Holiday Inn tonight, and a lot of folks already on the phone lines, including a caller from El Paso, Texas. Mark is watching on the HSE network. Good evening.
Hi, Eli. Hi, Mark. How you doing?
Great,
Hi.
Thank you.
I got 2 questions, one for you, Mark, and one for Eli. Mark, teams are starting to build their own chassis, at least Dale is. I was wondering if you guys did that. And I work as a computer designer. Well, I design stuff on the computer. I was wondering if jobs like that were open in NASCAR. And for Eli, I understand that the Indianapolis tickets has turned into sort of a lottery deal where it's more of luck if you're going to get tickets rather than just purchasing them. If you guys could comment on that. Thanks.
Well, to be honest, I'm not really sure of the exact progress of the ticket allocation program in Indianapolis. They have shown a preference, if you will, to those who have been long-time holders of tickets to the Indianapolis 500, and we certainly can understand that viewpoint, but exactly how the rest of their 305,000 actual hard seats will be allocated, I'm not really sure, but we'll be hearing more about that. I know they have already closed the mailbox. They said no need to write in anymore. They've already got enough names to fill that racetrack a couple of times over. That's going to be a heck of a trip. We'll talk more about it a bit later on. You got a resume from a fella here tonight, standing in line, computer-generated research and so on. Is that the way the sport's going?
I don't think so. I'm not a fan of racing technology. I'm not a fan of over-engineering these race cars. NASCAR is not built around racing technology, because that then makes you have to race cars like Formula One cars that just are so expensive and so difficult to race. So team engineers are not very likely in the near future. The rules are set up so that everyone has the same access to this very same parts, and the things that make you a winner are the human things, you know, of chemistry between your team and the driver and the people that build the engines and the people that bolt these cars together. They all have the same parts to go in the engines and the same parts to go in the cars.
Do what you can with it. But you have a brilliant engineer in Jack Roush heading the operation. Are you guys going to building your own cars from the ground up, as other teams are, or are you still buying the rolling chassis from elsewhere? It's
a lot more cost effective to buy the rolling chassis and do your handling package to it than it is to build our own chassis. You can certainly do that if you feel like you have the need to, but there's nothing wrong with the chassis that we buy, and it's a lot less expensive than it would be to set up our own 2 or 3 guys working on a service plate building cars that would crank out the same thing that we're buying, because basically what we want to race is what we're buying from the suppliers. So there's just not that much room to grow. We have a basic chassis that we have to use under the rules. There's only so much you can do, and you can't redesign it. You can only redesign it so much. I mean, and so it's just not effective for us to go into building our own cars right now. We may someday.
Mark Martin is our guest here in Phoenix this evening, driver of the Valvoline and Winn-Dixie Fords. We're going to come right back to more of your calls live on This Week in NASCAR. Stay with us.
This Week in NASCAR is brought to you by Smooth Busch Beer and Easy Drinking Busch Light, the heartbeat of America Chevrolet and your local Chevy dealer, and by Kendall Motor Oil. Pour in the protection.
How to identify the mountain man? Should be easy. I mean, doesn't a mountain man only live in really cold climates? Always go to bed when the sun sets? Wear a cowboy hat at all times? Actually, the easiest way to identify a mountain man is by his beer. Smooth Busch Beer or Easy Drinking Busch Light, the 2 cool beers of the mountain man. So, be a mountain man. All you gotta do is head for the mountains.
Everyone talks about how racing technology makes their street cars better. There isn't a car company today that brings more race-winning technology to the street than Chevrolet.
I'll never forget my first oil change. For more than 5 generations, people have trusted Kendall Motor Oil to protect their engines. Today's Kendall protects better than ever.
Car is a pretty big responsibility.
Yeah?
And this is the key.
Hey, Charlene.
Did you put the drain plug back in, son?
That day, I learned something about motors and motor oil.
What's that look like?
And to be sure to put the drain plug back. Look for the newest members of the Kendall NASCAR racing team, Kyle Petty and Kenny Wallace.
Do you add a tip when you pay your taxes? Use lots of stamps when you only need one? Well, your brand is probably on this table, next to mine. Both brands protect to 84 below zero. Boil-over protection? Identical. And both protect all metals. There is one important difference. Either this one costs about $1 more, or this one costs about $1 less. Peak. Maximum everything except the price.
Darlington Raceway in South Carolina. That was Mark Martin's view en route to Victory Lane. Not an easy racetrack, but you've tamed that baby pretty well.
I love that racetrack. It
gives you a handful.
Yeah, it does. It's a great challenge, and you know, we've had a lot of good luck there. So we had a bunch of second-place finishes before we finally won there, but this last time was
an impressive run. Welcome back to This Week in NASCAR. Mark Martin is our special guest, the driver of the Valvoline Ford. We're taking your calls toll-free this evening. And now let's go to Lori, joining us tonight on Prime Sports Rocky Mountain region from Boise, Idaho. Hello, Lori.
Hi, Eli.
Good
Hi,
evening.
Mark.
Hi.
Congratulations. Boy, you're doing great this season, and you're not out of it.
Thank you.
I have a question for you, and I was just wondering, between the both of you, has anybody ever won the Busch Grand National Championship and the Winston Cup NASCAR in the same year? And, of course, Mark, you're probably in contention for that.
Actually, it's never happened that way. We have seen a lot of Winston Cup fellows run and do very well, but, Mark, you just haven't run enough races to win the championship.
Yeah, I think we're about 25th in the points or somewhere in that area. And it's just not practical. If you miss one race, you're almost out of contention to win the thing. If you miss 2 or 3 races, you know, you can't possibly win the championship. So Winston Cup driver who runs the full schedule can't possibly really be in contention to win that thing.
It's down to Steve Grissom and David Green, the two fellows who have 2 races to go, Hickory and Atlanta, to settle the Busch Series championship. Let's go to York, Pennsylvania, where Jeff is watching on the KBL Sports Network. Hello.
Hi, Mark. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Eli.
Good evening.
Hi.
I'd just like to know, is it true about Steve Meal leaving next year, and how's morale been about everything?
Morale is perfect around our shop. We're working real hard to win these races, and we're really not going to deal with that until the season's over. Steve hasn't said anything to indicate that he was going to leave for sure at the end of the season, and you know, we're going to wait and see. We're trying to win Phoenix, and we've got to worry about Atlanta, and then after Atlanta, we'll go on to the next step.
We will say that there have been printed reports in trade papers, again, indicating that he would be heading to Hendrick Motorsports, but there has been no confirmation nor any denial either way, so we have to pretty well leave it at that. In any event, you talk about great minds. We've already documented Jack Roush and his engineering background. Steve is a guy who can really help pull all the right pieces together.
Well, Steve Meal's a brilliant man, and he's the guy that I wanted to work with for a long time before we got together in 1988, and he's the only guy in Winston Cup racing as of today that I want to work with, and you know, he's a good friend of mine, the best friend I have on the circuit, and you
Can't
know,
ask for a better testimony than that right there.
We're just, we're racing to win, and we'll deal with the rest of it, you know, when we have to.
Mark Martin is our guest this evening. We're going to come right back and take more of your calls. But as we leave you now, a look at Winston Cup points, positions 1 through 10, heading into Sunday's Slick 5500. We'll be right back.
Maine hockey's incredible championship season was captured on this unique home video out of the woods.
Don't matter what happens in the first period, second period, third period. It's a 60-minute game. No one can play with us 20 players.
This intimate documentary can be yours by calling this number. Spend the season behind the scenes with the Black Bears all the way to the NCAA title.
But what did they scream about yesterday? What did they scream about? Block out like you did after I screamed yesterday! But that's a subtle little thing.
Share the season with superstars Jim Montgomery, 6 U.S. Olympians, and the most personal sports video of them all. To get your copy of Out of the Woods, call this number, have your credit card out, Visa, MasterCard accepted. Spend the season behind the scenes with the Black Bears all the way to the NCAA title. Call this number now.
Newsflash for Big 8 football fans. Get the inside stories and follow your favorite teams from field to field. See the big hits and the big plays on the Big 8 Gridiron Report.
Friday afternoon at 4:30 on NESN. Your ticket to the best in college football.
Back with you as we look at Mark Martin on the front row at Bristol Raceway in Tennessee. You've always qualified well. Heck, you showed up for 5 races in 1981 and you grabbed a couple of Busch poles. So this is really nothing new, is it?
Well, learning how to make a car go fast wasn't really hard.
Was there a secret to it? Were you always a good qualifier back in your ASA days?
For me, the secret to it was the ASA car, if you could make it go fast, would stay fast. Whatever it was when it qualified is what it would be the whole race. And that's what I had to learn about NASCAR racing. I learned how to make a Winston Cup car go fast real easy, but it was really hard to make it go fast for 500 miles, and that's what I had to learn.
I hear you. Mark Martin is our special guest. We welcome those of you now joining us in New York City, the entire New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut tri-state area here on the Madison Square Garden Network. And we thank those of you here at the Holiday Inn West who have been so hospitable to us all day today. If you find yourselves out here in the Valley of the Sun, remember the Holiday Inn West just off I-10, a stone's throw from Phoenix International Raceway, or if just coming out here to enjoy the fine climate here in Phoenix, Arizona. Let's go to the phones to Everett, Washington, where Mike is on the line with us, watching on Prime Sports Northwest. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Mike. How are you?
Hi, Eli.
Good evening.
Hi, Mark.
Hi.
Mark, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Actually, 2. How much do you weigh, and do you think body size and stature has anything to do in the setup of a car?
Well, I weigh between 135 and 140, Mike. And when I first came to NASCAR racing in 1981, they said I was too little to drive one of these cars.
Really?
And so, I've been real determined to prove them wrong.
I'll call your home on an occasional Monday morning to chat about something, and Arlene will always say, this is the wrong hour to call. He's working out at this hour. You've got a gym at home?
I work out, Eli, at home every morning between 6 and 7:30 and get it over with so the rest of the day is not interrupted and I can't procrastinate the workout. I think it's real important to be physically fit. I don't think it matters if you weigh 225 pounds or 125 pounds. If your power to weight ratio is right, if you're in the right condition, then you'll stay sharp throughout the race. And after all, we're not trying to rip the steering wheel off these race cars.
Right. Good point.
We're just trying to drive them. So it's not how big you are. It's what kind of condition you're in.
Let's go to San Antonio, Texas for our next call. Richard, watching on HSE. Hello.
How you doing, Eli?
Good, thank you.
Hi, Mark.
Hi.
Yeah, Mark, I'm one of your biggest fans. I just wanted to know, do you have a lot to do on the car itself? Do you get out there and get your hands dirty with it?
Not anymore.
Would you like to? Do you miss that element of the business?
Sometimes. The problem is there was a time when I worked on a race car every day of the week, and I was familiar with all the processes and the way you did everything on the car at that time. Now, if I did something on the car, it would probably break or fall off, or you know what I mean? Because I don't do it, I wouldn't be any good. They won't dare let me mess with a race car because I'm off doing all the other things that go along with the business. But you can't afford in Winston Cup racing to have anyone different doing something on your car, because that one difference could
cost you.
Could be the thing that takes you out of a race and out of a chance to win and out of a championship. That one little thing. So I don't work on it anymore.
Don't work on them anymore. Let's go to the state of New Jersey. Don joining us on the Madison Square Garden Network from Old Bridge, New Jersey. Hello, Don.
Hello, Eli. Thanks for bringing us a great show.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Mark, I know you're a car owner, Jack, about a years ago during the drag racing days. You guys got quite a team there. I've got 2 questions for you.
Okay.
Do you think the engine should be downsized instead of using a restrictor plates on the engines? And the other question I have is, how far in model years do you test cars?
First of all, Jack Roush is an awesome fella, I tell you.
You're something.
Really great to work with Jack. I don't think that the engines should be downsized to throw the restrictor plate off, because In order to get the cars down as slow as we need to go, they'd have to be about half the size they are right now. And it would be costly to make the change. The other question was...
talking about Jack Roush and basically his involvement with the team. We had touched on it a little bit earlier about his... we talked about Jack, and this fellow mentioned his drag racing days. Would that interest you? No. Not at all, huh?
I'd make a fool of myself right there in front of everybody at the light, you know. And I like going in circles and sliding around. I'm horrified of Joe Amato. I know real well because Valvoline sponsors him. And, he offers all the time to let me drive his car, and it's like, man, I wouldn't get in that thing for, for it, I tell you. No way. No, I'm not going to go 300 miles an hour in 4.5 seconds, A
little too quick. Mark Martin is our special guest tonight. By the way, next week we'll be heading back to the East Coast, where we'll be taking up residence in Charlotte, the off week for the Winston Cup Series next Thursday night. We'll be at the studios of WTVI Television. That's Channel 42 in Charlotte, North Carolina. Those of you in the Queen City, home to the newest National Football League franchise. Come on by and say hello. Join us in person, or if not, right here on Prime Network. We're going to come right back. More with Mark Martin right after this.
Step right up to the 5th Annual Boston Bruins Wives Charity Carnival, Sunday, November 21st at the Boston Garden. See your favorite Bruins and Bruins alumni for autographs and photos. See behind the scenes at the Garden with a tour of the Bruins locker room. See your favorite goalies face the toughest shots in town. It's a day of games, prizes, photos, and fun, with all proceeds to benefit the Kids in Need Foundation. So step right up to the 5th Annual Boston Bruins Wives Charity Carnival.
As the temperature dips, hockey action heats up on NESN. This November, get ready for the Bruins to take on some of the NHL's hottest stars on the rise, including the Calgary Flames' Joe Nieuwendyk and the Philadelphia Flyers' Eric Lindros. Be sure to catch the Florida Panthers when they make their first ever visit to the Garden. But the hockey doesn't end in Boston. Catch the Baby Bees in Providence as they face off with the Fredericton Canadiens in AHL action. And tune to NESN for our 10th year of Hockey East coverage with collegiate powers like BC, Lowell, Providence, BU, and the defending national champion, Maine Black Bears. Don't forget football action on the home front with Eagles 93, with all the facts and figures as BC does battle with Virginia Tech, West Virginia, Pittsburgh, and Notre Dame. And we'll serve up the best in women's tennis with a week of live coverage from the Virginia Slims of New York. All this and more on NESN, your ticket to the best in sports.
Michigan International Speedway, Mark Martin heading right back to victory lane. It kind of got contagious there for a while. As important as every win is, does a win at Michigan, because of its importance to Jack Roush, if nothing else, mean a little bit more to you?
We love to win at Michigan, but I tell you, Eli, we want to win all the time. Anywhere we win is really precious. It's really hard to win a race this year in Winston Cup racing. If you'll look at Rusty, Dale, and myself and Ernie, that's 22 races out of about, what, 28, 27, something like that. So, this has been a tough year to get wins. And we got all ours in a row and hope to get, another one or two yet this year. But, I think that they're real precious no matter where you get them.
They really are. Let's go up to Essex, Vermont for our next call. Craig, watching on the New England Sports Network. Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
Great.
It's great to see NASCAR come up here to New Hampshire in the Northeast. Great to see that. My question for you is about the brakes. I know that Willwood's done a lot of work with a recirculating system, and I heard of a Stewart valve that they've been using. Have we finally cured the problem with burning these brake valves?
That was always a good question. For years, we could put a guy on the moon. We couldn't stop a race car at Martinsville, Virginia. I mean, has the technology finally caught up?
I tell you, it's just about as hard to stop a Winston Cup car 500 laps around Martinsville as it is to go to the moon. But they've got great brakes on these cars right now. We haven't had brake problems ourselves anywhere for a long, long time. and still people, you know, if they're off just a little bit, will still have brake problems. But they've done a great job. All these different companies have come up with all different things that have improved the brakes.
Let's go to Sumter, South Carolina now. Jay watching on Sports South. Good evening, Jay.
Good evening. I was wondering what your hobbies were whenever you're not driving, and if you were going to be driving in the Busch Series next year.
Do you have time for any hobbies?
No, this, you know, as you know, you're probably, Eli, the hardest working guy in Winston Cup racing or in all motorsports, but we stay at it all the time. We go, go, go. I don't have any hobbies. My weightlifting is part hobby, part of my job. I look at it as one of the two things. I have a lot of interest in the weightlifting and all.
You've been on with us in radio shows up north and so on, and the northern fans always say, why don't we see the Winn-Dixie car everywhere? They'd like to see it. Any chance to expand your Busch schedule next season?
No, I think it'll be a pretty close to the same schedule that we ran this year. Winn-Dixie is a great company and strongest in the southeast, and basically we're looking to do all conjunction Winston Cup races, because there again our schedule is tremendous. We're going to be doing 31 or 32 or 33 NASCAR Winston Cup races and 14 Busch races, and you know all the
plenty big, plus test sessions.
Yeah, plus the testing and all the other things that go along with it, and you just wind up not having anything left. I mean, right now when we look at going and doing something else in a season, we almost have to take something out to put something in our schedule.
Interestingly, as precious as test dates are, you've still got one remaining, and I don't believe you're going to use that. I mean, that's almost unheard of in this business.
I say we have way too many tests, you know, right now, and we have fewer tests next year. But I would have liked to have seen them cut them even further back. We just have so much to do, you know, so many things, and you know, so many appearances and so many things that go around our sport, that for us testing is not a major
priority. And this is already your second appearance of this evening, so you've been out here a few hours and keeping busy. And let's go to El Paso, Texas. Bobby, good evening to you.
Hello, Eli. Hello, Mark.
Hi.
Good show.
Thanks.
I have a two-part question. I noticed throughout the year on the 1 mile tracks, they run 500 laps. Last year, Phoenix was a 1 mile track and ran 300K.
500K.
500K, I'm sorry, you're right. This year, is it a 500 kilometer race or is it a 500 lap? And also, I'd like to know, the 28s I see on the cars, drag racing, you guys in memory of Davey. My mother is from about 50 miles east of Hueytown, and I would like, for me, I'd like to know if there's any way I can get one of those or who I can contact to obtain one of those.
Well, I would think as far as that second thought, you might want to contact maybe Bobby Allison Motorsports. He has an office in Hueytown. It's in the phone book. Or possibly Bobby's shop in Charlotte, his Winston Cup shop. They might have one of those decals available. If your mom gets to a race, Atlanta is close by your home in Alabama. Those are available from A-Star Promotions, which is the souvenir trailer company that handles some of Davey's memorabilia. So that would be the two best answers I could come up with. And as far as this weekend, what's 312 miles, the 500 kilometer, new racetrack surface. You think it's going to be a problem? You haven't tested here.
I don't think so. If I was worried about it, I think we would have come out and ran. But Rusty's been out, Dale's been out, and a few of the other guys. And I think everything will go smoothly. I don't anticipate any problems at all.
That's this weekend's Slick 5500. We're going to come right back, and as we leave you here, let's take a look at the Max Race Card Rookie of the Year battle. Just 2 races remaining. It looks as though Jeff Gordon's got it socked away. Here are the numbers. We're coming right back.
Aquavelva Aftershave.
There's something about an Aquavelva man.
from J.B. Williams.
Corvette back by Eureka for home or auto. 10 tools included. Power for big jobs, tight spots, extra long cord. Corvette back by Eureka.
For the car you drive, for the way you drive. Slick 50, high performance engine formula.
The complete story of the Trans Am series is now told for the first time ever on video in the history of the Trans Am series, 1966 to 1992. Packed with historic film and photos and interviews with Roger Penske, David Hobbs, Parnelli Jones, and many others, the history of the Trans Am series video chronicles the series from 1966 right up to the championship battle of '92. Order the history of the Trans Am series video for only $39.95 by calling 1-800-727-6689. That's 1-800-727-6689.
Sure, you've got a car. Got a dog. Even got some fun-loving friends. But have you got what it takes to be a mountain man? All it really takes are the two cool beers of the mountain man. Smooth Busch beer and easy drinking Busch Light. So, be a mountain man. All you gotta do is head for the mountains.
We've talked so much this evening about Jack Roush Motorsports. For those of you who might not be attuned to Winston Cup racing, that is he, Jack Roush, team owner for Winston Cup, IMSA cars, and all else in between, and a former drag racer himself. As we welcome you back to This Week in NASCAR, Mark Martin is our special guest. I'm Eli Gold. Tonight we'll be live in Phoenix, Arizona. Let's go to Garland, Texas now for our next call. A viewer join us on HSE. Hello, Ken. Good evening.
Hello, Eli. Hello, Mark.
Hi.
I'm your biggest fan. My house is like a Mark Martin museum. I'm talking
great.
to you tonight on a Valvoline Ford Thunderbird telephone.
That's great.
And I entered a contest, RJ Reynolds sponsored, when you won Michigan. And thanks to you winning the race, I won my Winston Cup jacket, and I want to thank you for it. And in my house, we have a saying that if Mark Martin can't win, we want nobody to win. And,
you know,
I got
it's
a question for
interesting. This fellow's calling in from Texas is a big fan. You were telling me that the biggest number of members in your fan club, though, are from the state of Pennsylvania, which is the same as Harry Gant. He told us not long ago the most members are from Pennsylvania. A lot of folks up there in the Keystone State.
Well, I tell you what, Eli, I can't believe how many people have gotten, you know, so involved in NASCAR racing that the television is amazing, you know, the difference it makes. I mean, we have fans, you know, everywhere we go, places that you would think that no one would recognize you or whatever, you can walk right into a place and, you know, people say,
that's Mark Martin.
Yeah, I know you,
That's
you know.
Right. Let's go to Rockingham, North Carolina for our next question. Mike is watching on Sports South. Hello, Mike.
How you doing, Eli?
Great.
How you doing, Mark?
Hi.
I was wondering if you're ever planning on being a car owner, and if is it just a rumor, or is Cellular One still planning on sponsoring you?
Well, certainly we've heard the name Cellular One as a company that would be interested in a number of sponsorship opportunities. They have been on Jeff Bodine's car a few times this year when the folks from Family Channel have not been the primary sponsor. So we'll have to wait and see exactly how Cellular One plays out. What about the future for Mark Martin after your driving days? Is a big-time car ownership role in your future?
I don't think so, Eli. I've been a car owner twice, and I don't want to be a car owner. I hope to work with Jack Roush for a long, long time. If I manage to drive for Jack until I retire from driving, I'm sure that there will be a place for me within that organization, you know, to stay involved.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I've been a car owner, and that's not pretty.
That's
I'm telling you.
Mark Martin, a very candid answer, joining us here tonight. We're going to come right back, but as we leave you now, check out these numbers. The Manufacturers' Championship, as tight as it has ever been, with just 2 races remaining in the Winston Cup schedule. Take a look. We're coming right back.
in life. You have to seize the moment. That's what Racer Magazine does for you. Here's the auto racing monthly you've been waiting for. It's about time. Racer is informed, emotional, authoritative, and passionate, with large-scale, full-color graphics, written and photographed by the best. Something worth reading, something worth keeping. There are no long, boring race reports. You already know what happened. Racer tells you how it was done. We want you to have the opportunity to take Racer for a test drive, to experience this new magazine for yourself. To order a trial subscription, call toll-free 1-800-553-7400. There's no risk. There's no obligation. If you're not happy with your first issue, just mark cancel on your bill. We don't think you will. Seize the moment. Take Racer for a test drive. Call toll-free 1-800-553-7400.
The complete story of the Trans Am series is now told for the first time ever on video in the history of the Trans Am series, 1966 to 1992. Packed with historic film and photos and interviews with Roger Penske, David Hobbs, Parnelli Jones, and many others, the history of the Trans Am series video chronicles the series from 1966 right up to the championship battle of '92. Order the history of the Trans Am series video for only $39.95 by calling 1-800-727-6689. That's 1-800-727-6689.
You add a tip when you pay your taxes, use lots of stamps when you only need one? Well, your brand is probably on this table, next to mine. Both brands protect to 84 below zero. Boil-over protection? Identical. And both protect all metals. There is one important difference. Either this one costs about $1 more, or this one costs about $1 less. Peak. Maximum everything except the price.
Watkins Glen International, the Budweiser at the Glen, about to be chalked up for the Valvoline Ford. You know, so many of your compadres, Mark, just dislike road racing. I mean, even going back many, many years. Remember, Buddy Baker told us he ran Riverside 5 years before even the place was paved. And so many of your brethren just don't like the road races. And you've run well there. I've seen you in the Rolex 24 at Daytona. You seem to try and gravitate to a road course race if there's one around.
Oh, it's fantastic, and it's real easy to drive. I mean, it's just like going down a country road real fast, you know. It just comes natural, you know. I love road racing.
Let's take a question from David. He's from Denver, Colorado, joining us here at the Holiday Inn West in Phoenix. Hello, David.
Hi, how you doing? I want to take this opportunity to thank Mark and Eli and the whole racing community for the great way they've handled the loss of Davey, Allison, and Allen. And as far as the question goes, speed, Mark, it's yourself, Earnhardt, Rusty Wallace, and now the Yates car with Ernie sitting in it, out there in front with a lot of speed. Are you as a driver ever concerned about the technical inspections afterwards as far as what they might find when they open that thing up?
You better believe it. You know, it's all our team's jobs to push every rule to the limit in order to have a competitive car, and there's a lot of gray areas out there that you know, sometimes I feel like if they want you, they can get you, you know, and you know, you really, once you start running really good, you usually have to get a little bit, you have to back away from the edges of the rules more than you do when you're running, you know, just so-so. Yeah. When you start winning a lot of races, you have to make sure that you're comfortably inside the realm of the rules.
The master of that gray area, of course, is now the chief cop, if you will, Gary Nelson. So he's always on the lookout. David asked a question about speed in general from a guy who's never driven over supposedly the posted speed limit or within shouting distance thereof. Seriously, though, did you have to learn to like 200-mile-an-hour racing? Did you have to force yourself to step on that gas pedal even harder, or is it just something that a racer takes as part of the job? Was it tough at the outset?
You don't notice 200 miles an hour any more than you noticed 90 at Martinsville. It's all relative to the size of the racetrack, and it's just as scary to run right on the edge of out of control at Martinsville as it is at Daytona or Talladega, because you're fixing a wreck. I mean, you're right there, and the next step is wrecking, and wrecking is bad, and it doesn't matter if it's 90 or 200, you know. The only thing is it just takes a lot longer to stop sliding at 200.
Mark Martin with that answer as we get back to the phones and head down to the state of South Carolina. George in Anderson, South Carolina. Hello.
Yes, Eli, I want to say that you have the best job in the world being able to talk to all these NASCAR people. And, I'm mostly a Chevrolet fan, but everybody here in my home, my mom, my sisters and all, are big Mark Martin fans. I just want to say that. I got a question for Mark Martin and for Eli Gold, and then I'll be done, I guess. Eli, does Jeff Bodine have a sponsorship for his car lined up for next year, or how far is he away from that?
Okay, he has not indicated that he has anything quite signed for next year. He has people looking for sponsorships, so at this point there's nothing definitive. Well, again, he has had a number of different companies this year, from Haynes to the Family Channel to Cellular One, but as of this moment, nothing is concrete for '94 that has been announced. Your question for Mark.
Has Jack Roush got a sponsorship for the 16 car next year, or is Keystone going to be back with the Roush Racing next year, or what do you know about that?
Keystone won't be back on the 16 car. I think they're pretty close to a deal. Obviously not announced yet, but they're looking pretty good for a program for Ted in the 16 car for next year.
Wendy joining us on the phone line now from Sedley, Virginia. She's watching on Home Team Sports. Hello.
Hey, Mark. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I wanted to first congratulate you on your season and wish you good luck for this weekend. And I'm calling for my husband, who was working till 3 o'clock this morning, and he will be tickled that I finally got through. My question is, how do they determine how the cars are lined up on pit road?
Your choosing of your pit stall, how is that done? Okay,
it's the previous champion, which is a 7 car this year, gets to pick pits first, and then the next, then they go by qualifying, you know, and they just, you choose where you want to be by the order of how you qualified.
That's the answer from Mark Martin. We're here tonight live in Phoenix, Arizona on This Week in NASCAR. We're going to break away now with a look at some of the information pertaining to Sunday's Slick 5500 at Phoenix International. Don't leave us. We're coming right back.
Every week, the Coors Sports Forum presents interesting and intelligent guests discussing what they know best, sports. So join host Al Troutwig Sunday evening at 5:30 for the Coors Sports Forum on NESN, your ticket to the best in sports talk.
We talked about Mark Martin's Jack Roush team with a corporate teammate. Next year it will be that man, Ted Musgrave, who currently drives the Jasper U.S. Air car for Radius Motorsports. I don't know if a lot of folks realize how far back you and Ted actually go together.
Yeah, I've known Ted since the mid-'70s or late '70s, and I'm looking real forward to working with him. And
did he really work on your pit crew at one point?
He changed tires on my ESA car one night at Indianapolis in the early '80s before he Indianapolis Raceway Park before he was racing ASA and all. So everything will work out well, or I'll have to kill him once. So.
He's a very talented race car driver.
Yeah.
He really is. We're here at the Holiday Inn West in Phoenix this evening. The folks have been kind enough to host us for this show now for the last number of years. And again, we'll invite you to swing on by here to the Holiday Inn West anytime you're in the Phoenix area, as we have, along with hundreds of folks joining us here at the hotel this evening. Let's go to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma for our next call. Mark, welcome to the show.
Yes, Mark, I'd like to congratulate you on your career, and I've got a couple questions. What do you think about the tire wars, and how can a car run so strong in the middle of the season and then kind of taper off toward the end?
Oh boy, those are two really good questions.
For the folks who don't know, the Hoosier Tire Company is returning to Winston Cup racing next year, as they've been in the Busch Series this season. So you have the choice of tire companies again next year.
You know, there's a couple of things about a tire war that I really hate. And one of the things was last time we had one, we got some drivers hurt. Yeah. That's the biggest negative to a tire war. As far as how can a team
kind of get derailed midway?
Man, I wish I knew. It's happened to us a couple times, and it's about competition and the things. It's chemistry, it's luck, it's how your competition. At one time, your stuff might be the best on the circuit, and then after a little while, everybody else gets working, and they might move out ahead of you for a while, and you might work as hard as you want to work, but you still can't move out ahead of them for maybe a month, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, maybe 2 years before you get to having superior equipment again. And it's just an ever-changing thing because these teams are working all the time.
Let's go up to Ellington, Connecticut. Mike is watching on the Madison Square Garden Network. Good evening to you, sir.
Hello, Eli.
Hello.
I had the pleasure of seeing your show live in Concord when you had Ted Musgrave on, and you have a heck of a show.
Thank you.
Mark Martin, Valvoline ought to be proud to have you. I put down a stack of cards in front of you at an autograph session, and you signed every one of them. I have two questions for you tonight, Mark.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Two questions tonight. First question, obviously, with Ted Musgrave going over to Roush Racing, it's going to help Ted out a lot in his career. Do you think you're going to have anything to learn from Ted as far as anything, you know, driving or anything from the car? And my second question is I saw the Winston Cup race up in Loudon, and you and Earnhardt were banging fenders pretty good, and I was just wondering if there's any hard feelings left having incidents like that in practice. Thank you.
I'm real excited about having Ted as a teammate. I believe after a period of time, it may be after a day, or it may be a week or a month. Certainly it won't be a year. There'll be a time when he's able to bring things, to test things, see things, feel things, and bring them to my attention that I can't deal with. There's only so much that I can deal with at a time. And I believe that Ted is a good enough, savvy enough chassis guy and race car driver that he'll be able to bring things in shocks or setups or things to my attention that will make us all stronger and better.
How about working with your fellow drivers week in, week out, practice, race day, and so on? Is it difficult to forget what happened in a given incident and just go on leading a normal, friendly relationship?
Dale's just a real hard competitor. There was a little bit of, there's always going to be a little bit of friction once in a while. There certainly wasn't any friction in New Hampshire between he and I. There was a little bit of a rub in Michigan that didn't last very long. You have your ups and downs, but you have to remember all of us drivers live under a garage that is very small, and we're with each other 40 weeks a year, and we all have to get along. I mean, it's kind of like going to school. You might get in a fight with, your buddy, but pretty soon you get over it and you get back. Everybody winds up being pretty good friends because we spend a lot of time together. And you have your favorites and you have your less favorites, but
we're all family and traveling across the country.
We're all family, and I like Dale an awful lot, and I have a lot of respect for his drive and determination.
As we leave you now, let's check out the broadcast schedule for Sunday's Slick 50 500. We'll be right back.
Now, Golf Digest, the #1 magazine in golf, introduces something guaranteed to lower your score. 8 ways to a better golf game. It can help you experience a game you always knew you had inside of you. A game that can make you better off the tee. Better out of the sand. Better on the green. Better all around. Experience the game that's inside of you. Get the 8 Ways to a Better Golf Game video. It's guaranteed to improve your game, and it's free with your paid subscription to Golf Digest. That's right, free. If you think you can do without it, think again. Order 12 issues of Golf Digest for just $19.77 now, and get the latest video free. Call 800-228-2229. That's 800-228-2229.
Pick your spot for Eagles 93, Friday night at 6 or Saturday morning at 11:30 on NESN. Your ticket to Boston College football. Eagles 93 is brought to you by the Chevy dealers of New England.
Mark Martin is our guest here in Phoenix as we head now to Canfield, Ohio for a question. Watching on Prime Sports Midwest is Karen. Good evening.
Hi, Eli. Hi, Mark.
Hi.
First of all, Mark, good luck this weekend in Phoenix.
Thank you.
Two-part question here. Recently, a local newspaper ran an article, and they said that you were from a city in North Carolina, and I've always known that you were from Batesville. Did you move, and how is your family adjusting? Secondly, my husband's son is very interested in becoming eventually a crew chief for NASCAR or Winston Cup. Right now he is working on a stock car. He's a chief on that. What pointers can you give him?
Okay, I'm from Batesville, Arkansas. I live in Jamestown, North Carolina. And that's kind of how I don't know what the proper thing to say
NASCAR
is.
always uses one's original hometown.
And that's what I've always wanted to go by as well. You know, that's where I'm from. But I do live in Jamestown, North Carolina.
And for this lady's son, who is a crew chief on a stock car at the local track in Ohio, how does he get to be where Steve Meal is today?
Well, there's not very many shortcuts unless you really know the right person that can open doors for you. It's, you know, it takes hard work and determination. But the main thing I think in his position would be to try to get on with a Winston Cup or Busch Grand National race team.
Doing
any capacity, and a lot of times that means moving there and you know, starting at sweeping the floors.
Let's go to Anchorage, Alaska for our next call. Nate, welcome to the show.
Mark, how are you doing?
Just because you're in Alaska, you don't have to yell, Nate.
It's the long ways I've been trying to get through. I'm so glad I got a chance to talk to you. I've heard people say time and time again they're probably your biggest fan, but I'd have to say I'm one of your biggest fans.
That's great.
I love watching you race, and I race a sportsman car up here in the dirt. We don't have any paved tracks in Alaska, but we get to race a little bit. Anyways, love watching. You've had a great season, and
thank you.
Oh, geez. So I'm just totally nervous. Anyway.
Do you have a question for Mark?
Well, mostly a comment. I got a quick question, but that Arkansas grip, I tell you, it saved you time and time again. That save at Charlotte was just incredible. I've watched that on tape a couple times over and over, and you and Dale, you guys just race like nobody else out there down here. So.
We were just talking about that here in the audience. It was a great piece of racing, and we appreciate your calling in, and tell all the guys down at Billy's Blubber Bar we say hello. We're going to come right back and wrap it up right after this. Stay with us.
This Week in NASCAR has been brought to you by Kendall Motor Oil. Pour in the protection. by the heartbeat of America, Chevrolet, and your local Chevy dealer. And by smooth Busch Beer and easy-drinking Busch Light.
Oh, hey there, Grandpa. How's the old truck running?
Never been better. Oh, I brought your graduation present by. Well, it's been in the family a long time.
Kendall Motor Oil. It's good stuff. Thanks, Gramps. I'm not quite sure what to say.
Well, that and this old truck kind of go together. It's yours, as long as you take care of it.
Look for the newest members of the Kendall NASCAR racing team, Kyle Petty and Kenny Wallace.
Camaro. What else would you expect from the country that invented rock and roll?
There's no place on earth that I'd rather be than out in the open where it's so plain to see. If it's gonna get done, it's up to you and me. Come on and head for the mountains of Busch. Come on and head for the mountains of beer.
Pro tennis is booming, and one show puts you at center court with the hottest players on the circuit. From the incredible shots to inside interviews, you'll get it all on the IBM ATP Tour magazine. Every week on Prime.
The Valvoline Ford at Phoenix International Raceway 1 year ago. As we welcome you back this Sunday, it's the Slick 5500. You've mentioned you've not tested. Is this a tough 1 mile racetrack as tracks go? And you guys are just hit on the combination. Do other guys have troubles at that racetrack?
It's been a real easy racetrack for us to get around and hit the setup, you know, so far. We'll keep our fingers crossed for this weekend, but it's a pretty easy racetrack to get around.
Is the setup like any other track on the circuit?
It's a lot like Richmond and Wilkesboro. It's kind of a combination. It's kind of like those racetracks.
When you go and qualify tomorrow afternoon, 3 o'clock local time here, how much of a change will then take place from that point through to Sunday morning?
Well, it depends, you know, on how well the car's working. Sometimes you qualify fast with a car that doesn't work real good, you know, except for a lap or two, and it'll depend on the car. Sometimes you make almost no changes at all, and sometimes you make a big change.
Mark Martin, we're tickled for the kind of year you've had. Everything turned around in Winston Cup. You're winning it all in Busch Series racing. All the best for many, many years to come, and thanks so much for being here tonight.
Thank you, Eli.
Mark Martin, our special guest, the driver of the Valvoline Ford and Winston Cup competition, and the Winn-Dixie Ford on the NASCAR Busch Series. Next Thursday, we'll be back on the East Coast in Charlotte, North Carolina. The folks at WTVI Television, Channel 42 in Charlotte hosting us there. So if you're in the Queen City, come on by and say hello. If not, tune in right here on This Week in NASCAR. Thanks again to the folks at the Holiday Inn West here in Phoenix. Thank you for your phone calls. For Mark Martin, I'm Eli Gold. Good night, everybody.